Hello, my beloved friends. I'm glad you're still listening at me. So this Bible study has become like a devotional thing that God gives me words every day and I just need to deliver that word. I've been focusing a lot on inner healing because it's one of my big subjects in my ministry. And I believe that the greatest movement on this planet is going to be healing of the soul. We're going to see it. It's going to be a major breakthrough all over the world. Healing of souls. Healing of brokenness, healing of depression, suicidal, bipolar, all these diagnoses. God is going to go through the mental institutions and clean up many of the hospitals and deliver people who are sitting there with some diagnosis from the doctor and eating pills for the rest of their lives with side effects, other side effects and symptoms that makes them sicker. And God is going to deliver these people because Jesus came to set the captives free. He came to loosen people who were in bondage. And I believe we are entering into a supernatural time where we will see breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. Everything is shaking on this planet. Everything. The political systems, the nations is shaking all over. The only thing that will keep standing, the only institution that will keep unshakable is the church. It's the body of Christ. And God is going to raise us up. He's going to raise up his body, his global body, to a mighty army in the last time. A beautiful bride, and breakthrough is going to happen. And many of us has been going in many years in struggles, feeling attacked, going through deserts. But I believe some of those burdens that we are carrying will lead to breakthrough. There are people praying 24/7 for years. Intercessors praying and fasting. And I know we're good at fasting from food. And maybe we need to fast from something in our soul. From wrong thinking, from jealousy, from competition, from unbelief, comparison, gossip. We need to fast from that to let God raise up his bride. That is us. Either you're in or you out. God will cleanse those people who are willing to give everything to him, because he's going to do something amazing on this planet. He's going to heal the brokenhearted. We're going to see so much healings coming into our mental institutions. And God is going to heal those people who have been bound by fear, by anxiety, by post-traumatic stress syndrome, trauma, all these diagnoses. Some of them I really believe is demonic. I believe that the enemy has come into people's wounds, and that is a doorway he's using, and then he creates something demonic in people's lives, that they are more bound. And then many people are also giving in to this diagnosis. They are like adjusting to it, and they get so used to having that diagnosis that it becomes like a part of their identity. Some people even present themselves in the first or second sentence with, hello, my name is this and that, I am bipolar, I have so-and-so, post-traumatic stress. And, you know, God is going to do something amazing, and it comes out of our prayers. It comes out of our devotion to God in our homes, where we are bowing our knees and really let God cleanse us, and we're going to pray out these breakthroughs that is going to affect the whole world. I believe it's going to be like a huge movement of healing of the soul. You see, because when we are healed in our soul, we can heal the world. You cannot heal the world when you are wounded. You need to let God take that time. And this morning I was thinking about pearls. I have a friend that used to live in Hawaii, and she is so excited about pearls. And it's so interesting to see how the pearls are being created, because it's like a shell or what is it called? A mussel that are under the sea, and then there is a little sand grain that is coming into the shell, coming into the mussel, and that creates an irritation. So the shell becomes like irritated on that little sand, so it created this defense mechanism that is like a fluid that is starting to put layers upon layers upon layers around this little sand grain. And it takes years before it becomes a beautiful, valuable pearl. And some of the pearls, they are slipping out too fast from that process, and they are not as valuable as those most expensive pearls who are going through the whole process. And that is so awesome to me, because it's exactly how it works with us in our lives. We have to go through processes with God, and sometimes it's very painful, but it's necessary pain. It's necessary pain. And we don't know all the time what God is doing with our lives. That's why He always asks us to trust Him and lean, because He is the potter and He is doing something. He's creating you into a beautiful, valuable, expensive pearl. But if you step out of that process because you don't want to do it, you don't want to give everything to Christ, you don't want to go through this pain, you don't want to pay the price, you're going to come out like the pearls that have like a lower class, because they didn't let the process take them where they could be like the beautiful, expensive, quality pearl. And we need to just cooperate with the Holy Spirit and let Him take us into these processes. Maybe it's many processes, especially to be healed. It could be a little scary and painful at times. We want to be healed now, instantly. At least after some weeks, we feel we're doing good, we're cooperating, we are quoting scriptures, we're praying, and then 1 month, 2 months, and you still struggle with stuff. Sometimes it's deliverance, but most of the time it's a healing process. Like this pearl, I think it takes like 3 years before that sand becomes into a pearl. So God created the nature like that things take time. Diamonds, to make them shine and be refined, take time. Gold, to be refined, take time. It has to go through certain processes of pressure, of fire. And it's the same thing with us. We are something that He crafted, something that He created, and He's working something beautiful inside of us. And I think we are very fast on blaming the enemy for everything that's painful in our lives. You as soon as you feel any pain, you think it is the enemy attacking you. I'm not so sure that it is the enemy all the time, because it could be something you are in like this pearl, or necessary pain, as I said. I read about Hannah this morning. You know, it was another wife also. They were married to the same man, Peninnah, and she was a mother of several children, but Hannah didn't have any kids. And that was her greatest sorrow, that she wanted a baby and she couldn't have babies. And she was crying out to the Lord, and she was mocked by this Peninnah constantly because she didn't manage to get pregnant. But you see, it's like that irritation that was over Hannah's life is the same irritation that was in that shell, in that mussel, where it turns out that it came out into a beautiful pearl. Out of that irritation, out of that situation, that process that Hannah went through, where she was crying, and we think that she was crying, that she was so attacked. I think it's more an indication on that the water in heaven was broken, that it was constrictions in her process to birth out Samuel, the prophet. You see, everything we carry on the inside, we have to birth out in the spirit first before we see it manifested in real life. And sometimes when I pray, when God gives me promises, there are seasons. It depends on what promise it is. If it is a big promise like a nation or something big, ministry, it's going to take a while. And my prayer life is changing during those years where I'm carrying that promise, where God sometimes said, now you need to fast. Now you need to just be alone with me. Now you need to, you know, pray out this baby. And it's kind of painful. It's almost like a physical pain where you get birth pains in the spirit, because you're carrying a promise. And there are stuff coming against it, doubt, but it's also a process to create that vision in the spirit. You need to go through pain and struggle and obstacles and doubt and everything that's painful in this life to get there. So I believe many, many people on this planet are gonna receive their promised baby in the next year. They're going to be major birthing out of promises that have been waiting for years, where you've been carrying promises for many years of your life. You've been holding on, you've been crying, you've been maybe angry, frustrated. It's been so quiet up there, and you wonder if God has forgotten about you. If what you heard from God was maybe not from him, or it was just your imagination. But you see, every big promise that we are carrying is going to take time. It's a process where the baby is being shaped inside of us, and one day, very soon, is going to be ready to be birthed out. I think you shouldn't cry so much. I think you should concentrate on pushing out that baby instead of giving up. You want to give up. A lot of things that I learned in this life has to do with hardship and painful things that I had to go through. But I'm happy that I went through it now, because it made me and shaped me to the person I am today. And maybe what's inside of you and you want to give up now because it's so close, you maybe have been waiting for this moment your whole life. Is maybe a big thing that you are carrying on the inside, a big dream, a big vision. It could be a national thing, it could be a ministry, a church, whatever, something big for you to get a physical child, maybe a breakthrough, some form of breakthrough. And before breakthrough, there is pain. There are burdens that leads to breakthrough. I said it in here. Sometimes we get a breakdown and God allows it because it turns out it was a breakthrough where you've been pushed so heavy that you break down, and bam, there is your breakthrough. So remember, when you are attacked, when you're carrying something, is actually not an attack against you, is an attack against heaven. Because heaven gave you that promise. Heaven was pregnant with that promise before you were pregnant with it. So maybe you have a pregnancy for destiny for a nation, like Joseph, David, and Paul, and Hannah. She birthed out a prophet. And those men and women, they had national callings. They were changing nations. So you are pregnant with what heaven is ready to deliver. Heaven is ready when it is ready. You don't know the time. So even if you have a Peninnah in your life that come to irritate, you have stuff in your life that is disturbing you, that is irritating your process, or your pregnancy, is going to push you to birth out that baby. So Peninnah is also like a spirit in a way, like a demonic spirit who is coming towards your promise to abort your promise, to give you a spiritual miscarriage of unbelief or doubt. Because what Peninnah did to Hannah, she was pointing out the facts for her and mocking her because she couldn't have children. But God made a miracle happen through Hannah, and what came out was a great prophet, Samuel. That's awesome. So that demonic attack, if you say that Peninnah is like in a spiritual attack, it's trying to drive you away from your destiny. It's trying to make you abort your promise too soon. Like that pearl that slipped through the process in the shell too soon, where it didn't become as God wanted it to be. So we need to lean on God and trust Him for all seasons and timings in our lives. And don't be stressed, don't be nervous, don't be sad or depressed. I know it's easy to say, and sometimes it's harder to do it in real life. We all feel that depression can come against our lives. Doubt can come against us. Unbelief can sometimes come against us. But you see, it doesn't matter, because you will find yourself going through those tough attacks, and you will come out on the other side with stronger faith, and then you are more unshakable because you went through the shakings and you're still standing, and you're going to birth out your ministry, your child, your baby, your promise from heaven. And it's important that we are just holding on to the process and not running away. And sometimes we are interpret, like I said, all the pain to attacks. Sometimes it is attack, but many times it's something that is allowed by God, like heaven's contractions, because you are close to birthing that baby. It says a verse in the Bible that the baby has come to the birth canal, but it's no power to birth it out. And that is interesting to me, because it's many of us has been there where we have been holding on to stuff. In the beginning, you're all fired up. You really believe it. You have so many scriptures. You have dreams. You have visions about it. You carry it inside of you for years. And then you start to wonder what happened to that promise, because it takes so many years sometimes. And you start to doubt, and the enemy wants you to doubt. He wants you to forget about that child. He wants you to stop that process that you are in and to turn around and away from it, because he doesn't want that baby to be birthed out. He doesn't want your promise to be birthed out. He doesn't want your ministry to come alive, your dream to come alive. So he's trying to constantly shoot at your mind with doubt and unbelief. And it can make you sad. You can go through seasons with your pregnancy in the spirit with sadness, with also struggling with depression. But God is bigger than your depression. And he is going to make sure, if you hold on and don't let go, that baby is going to be birthed out. And one day you will find yourself in the midst of your dream. Just don't stop the process, even if it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's, you know, practical uncomfortable. Maybe it's thoughts in your mind that are disturbing you, that are creating doubt or sadness or isolation, loneliness, because you're not used to holding on to a promise that long. But God is going to take us from glory to glory, from glory to glory. You see, the way God has dealt with me, he started to teach me about walking in faith in small things. And then I went through those seasons and I saw the promise fulfilled, and then he gave me more. He entrusted me with more, with bigger things. And I had a process where I was standing in faith for 3 years, one time, with one scripture. And it happened exactly as God had told me. But many of those seasons I was very scared, and I was, you know, sometimes doubting a little bit. And I was, you know, I was not used to walking in faith on that kind of level. But it turned out that everything that God has said to me came alive. It was major breakthrough. So I learned over the years how God is dealing with our faith walk when we have a promise. So I can go back to those seasons inside of me and learn from it. So I get more and more secure when I walk with God. I'm more and more certain that it's nothing to panic over. God is God. He has his timing. I'm just going to lean and trust and be right here and serve him today and keep the promise alive on the inside of me. And it's going to be granted unto me what I believe, because God is moving according to our faith. So don't lose your faith. Don't lose your vision. Don't lose your baby. Maybe it's just around the corner and bam, your vision is coming alive. I believe we are walking into a miracle season for sure. We are being prepared in many ways through deserts for years to stand in great and awesome things out there. Great miracles, signs and wonders. So, you know, the bigger you are tested, the harder you are tested, the longer time it's going to take, the bigger the breakthrough is going to be. Because it's a big vision you have. It's a big dream. It's not a little dream. And God is going to make sure, like he did with Hannah, that your Samuel, your baby, is going to come out. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Don't cry. Just push out that baby and cooperate with heaven. Even if you don't understand the process, just cooperate with heaven and believe and trust. That's the only thing you need to do. God bless you. Have a great afternoon. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.